Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into something that can, well, really mess with your financial life and your peace of mind, frankly.
Absolutely. We're talking about finding fraudulent accounts on your credit report.
Yeah, imagine opening your report and seeing debts you never, ever took on. It's incredibly stressful, right?
It really is.
So our mission in this deep dive is pretty straightforward, but it's crucial. We want to give you a really clear picture of how to spot these bogus entries.
And the exact steps you need to take to dispute them.
Exactly. And ultimately, how to get them removed. Think of this as your guide to taking back control.
That's right. Because the impact of these fraudulent accounts, it can be significant,
How so?
Well, it can drag down your credit score. That makes it harder to get loans, car, home, you name it.
Right. Renting an apartment, even some jobs look at credit now.
Exactly. And beyond just the money side, there's the emotional toll. It feels like a violation, doesn't it?
It totally does. Okay, so let's get practical. How do you even spot one of these? What are the red flags?
Okay, the single most important thing. Make checking your credit reports a regular habit.
Right. Not just when you're applying for something.
Precisely. And a lot of people might not know you're entitled to one free credit report every year from each of the big three bureaus.
That's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Those are the ones. And the place to go is annualcreditreport.com. That's the official site.
Annualcreditreport.com. Good tip. Maybe put a reminder in your phone or calendar.
Good idea. At least once a year. Definitely.
Okay, so you've gone there, you've pulled your reports. Now what? What am I specifically looking for?
You're scanning for anything that just doesn't ring a bell at all.
Like what kind of things?
Could be credit cards you don't remember opening, loans you never applied for,
Yeah.
accounts with banks or lenders you've never even heard of.
Okay.
And when you see something unfamiliar, look closely at the details. The date it was opened, the balance, the payment history.
It sounds obvious, but I can see how someone might see something. Maybe it looks vaguely familiar and they just think, oh, it's a mistake, it'll fix itself.
Yeah, that's a huge risk. You really can't afford to ignore these unfamiliar entries.
Why not?
Because it could very well be the first sign your identity's been compromised. And the longer it sits there, the more damage it can do to your credit.
Right. So treat any unrecognized account as serious. Investigate immediately.
Without delay. Exactly.
All right. So let's say you did it. You checked your report and boom, there's something suspicious. Your heart probably skips a beat. What's step one?
Okay. Deep breath. First step. Contact the credit bureau that's actually showing the fraudulent account.
The specific bureau.
Yes. Remember, they operate independently. So if it's on, say, your Experian and Equifax reports, you've got to dispute it with both.
Ah, okay. So you contact each one separately if needed. And how do you actually dispute it with them? What are the options?
Generally, you've got a couple of ways. Online is usually faster. Most bureaus have a dispute section on their website. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Send a dispute letter by mail.
Any advantage to mail?
Well, sending it certified mail gives you proof they received it, which is always good for your records. Peace of mind,
Good point. Okay, online or mail. What do I absolutely need to include? What's the crucial info?
Right. You need documentation. First, a clear copy of your government-issued photo ID, driver's license, passport, something like that.
Copy. Got it. What else?
Second, you need a detailed letter. Explain why you think the account is fraudulent. Be specific.
Like mention the account name, number if you have it, when you noticed it.
Exactly. And clearly state, this is not my account. And third, include a copy of the credit report itself.
And do what with it?
Circle or highlight the fraudulent item. Makes it super easy for them to see exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, ID copy, detailed letter, report copy with the item marked. Makes sense. So you've contacted the bureau. Is that it for step one?
That's the first big step with the bureau. But there's another crucial thing you need to do right away.
Okay, what's next? Step two.
Step two, file an official identity theft report.
Where do I do that?
The Federal Trade Commission's website. It's identitytheft.gov.
Identitytheft.gov. Okay. And why is this step so important? What does it achieve?
Filing that report creates an official government record. It says, yes, this person was a victim of identity theft.
And that helps how?
It's really useful when you're dealing with the creditors themselves, maybe law enforcement if it gets to that point. It's official proof. It backs up your claim when you're disputing those accounts.
Right. It strengthens your case. Okay, so contacted the bureau, filed the FTC report. What's step three?
Step three is to reach out directly to the company or the lender. the one that reported the bogus account in the first place.
So this is different from contacting the credit bureau.
Yes, it's a separate action. You need to talk to the source of the information, too.
Makes sense. And what do I tell them? What's the goal?
You tell them clearly, this account is fraudulent. I did not authorize it. You ask them to investigate and remove it from their records.
And if they remove it from their records?
Then they should update the credit bureaus, which helps get it off your report.
Gotcha. And keep records of these calls, too.
Oh, absolutely. Dates, who you spoke with, any reference numbers, document everything.
Okay, this feels like a lot of immediate action. Is there anything else protective I should be doing right after finding this?
Yes, definitely. You should think about putting some protective measures on your credit files. Stop further damage, you know.
Like what?
The first thing is a fraud alert. You place it on your credit reports.
And what does a fraud alert do?
It tells potential creditors they need to take extra steps to verify it's really you before opening a new account in your name.
How long does that last?
An initial one typically lasts for 1 year. You can renew it.
Okay. And I heard there's something stronger. A credit freeze.
That's right. A credit freeze or security freeze is more robust.
How so?
It actually restricts access to your credit report almost entirely. It makes it really hard for thieves to open new accounts.
Wow. So that sounds pretty secure.
It is. But unlike a fraud alert, it stays on until you lift it, temporarily or permanently.
So if I want to apply for credit myself, I have to remember to unfreeze it.
Exactly. You have to contact each bureau again separately to place the freeze, lift it when needed, and remove it later. It's a bit more hands-on.
Okay, fraud alert for a heads up, credit freeze for a lockdown.
Got it.
So let's recap the actions. Contact bureaus, file FTC report, contact lender, put on alert or freeze. Done all that, now what? Just wait.
Pretty much. Now it's the waiting period. Once you've submitted your dispute to the credit bureau, they have to investigate.
Is there a deadline for them?
Yes. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, they generally have 30 days to investigate.
30 days.
Okay.
And best case scenario, what happens if they agree it's fraud?
If they verify it's fraudulent, they are legally required to remove it from your report.
That's good to know. They have to take it off.
They do. And they should notify you of the results of their investigation, too.
You mentioned the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. Can you say a bit more about how that protects people here?
Sure. The FCRA is basically your Bill of Rights for credit reporting. It guarantees accuracy and fairness.
So it gives you the right to dispute errors.
Exactly. Any information you think is wrong, including fraud. And it forces the bureaus to conduct a reasonable investigation.
And if they find it's wrong or can't verify it?
They have to correct it or remove it. Crucially, the law makes it clear. You are not responsible for fraudulent debts opened by identity thieves. It gives you the legal power to fight back.
That's really empowering to know. Okay, so we've covered identifying, disputing, removing.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears slightly to prevention. How can people avoid this nightmare in the first place?
Prevention. Always better than cure, right? There are several key things.
You like what? Top tips.
Number one in today's world, strong, unique passwords for everything online.
Not using password 123 everywhere.
Definitely not. And don't reuse passwords across different sites. Make them complex. Mix upper, lower numbers, symbols.
Okay, and that two-factor thing.
Yes. Two-factor authentication, or multi-factor. Enable it wherever you can. It's like having 2 locks on your digital door instead of just one. A huge extra layer of security.
Makes total sense. What about offline stuff? Daily habits?
Be careful with physical documents. Shred anything with sensitive info before you toss it. Account numbers, social security number, birth dates.
Don't just throw bills in the trash. Shred them.
Right. Dumpster diving is still a thing, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay. What about phone calls or emails asking for info? Those phishing scams.
Be super cautious. Extremely cautious. Legitimate companies usually won't just call or email out of the blue asking for sensitive details like that.
So if someone calls claiming to be my bank.
Hang up. Find the official number for your bank yourself from their website or your statement and call them directly to verify if they actually needed to contact you. Don't trust the number they give you or the link in an email.
Good advice. Verify independently. And I guess this brings us back to this start monitoring your reports is also prevention, right?
Absolutely. Regular monitoring is key for early detection. Even if you're not dealing with active fraud, checking routinely helps you spot anything suspicious much faster.
Before it gets out of hand.
Exactly. And also, sign up for fraud alerts from your bank and credit card companies. Many offer them now. They can give you a quick heads up about weird transactions.
That can be a really useful early warning system.
Definitely.
Okay, this has been incredibly useful, a real step-by-step guide for dealing with this mess and, crucially, how to try and stop it from happening. So, wrapping up this deep dive, what's the single most important takeaway for listeners?
I'd say, if you find a fraudulent account, act fast. Speed is crucial.
Don't delay.
Don't delay. And while the process might seem daunting at first, it is manageable. Follow the steps we talked about. You don't have to just accept it.
Right. It's not hopeless. You actually have the power to fix this and protect yourself.
Precisely. You have the right to an accurate credit history. You're not liable for what thieves do. Use your rights.
And hopefully, if you found this helpful, maybe share it if you know someone going through this or just someone who could use the info.
Yeah, sharing this knowledge is really valuable. And please, if you have more questions or maybe your own experiences you want to share about credit issues, reach out.
We love hearing from you. It helps us figure out what deep dives are most needed.
Definitely.
So, a final thought then. As you go forward, remember that protecting your financial information isn't a one-time thing. It's ongoing vigilance.
Stay proactive.
Exactly.
What?
Maybe, as a next step after listening, think about setting up that regular schedule. Put it in your calendar now to review your credit reports. It's a small bit of time.
That could save you a massive headache down the line. Well worth it.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.